How's everyone doing? I'm back here again for our video, and in this video I'm going to be doing a Blu-ray review. Now, I don't normally do videos talking about an individual Blu-ray simply because I don't like talking about Blu-rays that everyone else has already talked about. Whenever I talk about an individual Blu-ray, I like to talk about ones that I don't see a lot of people talk about or show off, and this is one Blu-ray that I really haven't seen that many people talk about. I've seen one person do an unboxing of it, and I've seen some people pick it up, but I haven't seen a whole lot of people show it off. And I think the reason why is because I don't think that many people know that this movie is available on Blu-ray. I haven't seen it in any stores, and I went to the main three. I went to Best Buy, Barnes & Noble, and FYE, and they didn't have it. I ended up having to order this. But the Blu-ray I'm going to be talking about is for the film The Good Son. Yes, this finally got a Blu-ray release. Now, I also believe that the reason why a lot of people don't know this Blu-ray was released is because this is, it's a popular movie, but it's not as popular as any other film from Maculay Culkin or Elijah Wood. This is one of their, it's not as popular, but I do know that there's a lot of people who really enjoyed this movie like I do. I personally love this film. It's one of my favorite films, actually, and when I was rewatching this movie to do this review, I remembered why I really do enjoy this movie. I'm not going to talk about the actual film. If you guys want to know my thoughts on the movie, I'll leave a link down below to a movie review that I did some years ago talking about the movie, because I really do enjoy it. It's kind of a dated review, and I know I made some mistakes in it, and I don't, there's some reviews that you look back on and you kind of wish you could redo. But I'll just go ahead and leave the link down below to my review of the movie if you guys want to know my thoughts on the film. But in this video, I'm just going to be talking about my thoughts on the actual Blu-ray. And I must say this is a very, very nice release. This release was put out by Kino Lorber. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah, like I said, this is a really nice release all the way around. So first, I'm going to talk about the actual picture quality of the film and the extras of the Blu-ray, and I'm going to talk about the packaging itself. So first I'll talk about the picture quality. Now the movie itself, it looks good. I did notice that there were some splotches throughout the movie. There were some things, that I noticed that weren't necessarily perfect, but the movie does look good. Now, this is a movie that I've owned on VHS for years. I don't remember when I picked up the VHS. I believe it was maybe the late 90s, and it was back when, I was a huge fan of Maculay Culkin as a kid, and I still am as well. I still think he's a great actor. Obviously, he's not acting now, but I'm still a big fan of his work, and I remember when I first saw this movie, I was getting pretty much every movie that I could that he was in. I saw Home Alone when I was very, very young, and then I saw Home Alone 2, and then I saw My Girl, which I believe was the third film that I saw of him, and then I believe that The Good Son was the fourth or fifth movie that I saw with him starring in it, and I remember, being really surprised that he played an evil, mean character, and it's a movie that it never really scared me. It always kind of creeped me out a bit. There are some really good creepy moments in it, but as far as a full horror movie, it's not necessarily a horror film. It's more of a thriller. But I really did enjoy it. I really enjoyed the acting, and this is a movie that he is the star of it, but I really think that the real star of this movie is Elijah Wood. And I just really, and that was my introduction to him. I had never seen any other film before this, and that was the first film that I saw Elijah Wood in. So this was the movie that introduced me to him, and it was a movie that I would watch over and over again. When I was a kid, I would pretty much watch the same movies every day, and so I know how the VHS of the film looked, and it looks okay for a VHS quality. And then I have a new DVD release of it, which I'll go ahead and pull it out. I have this release right here of it on DVD, and it looks decent on this release. It's not a great transfer, but I think it looks pretty good. But as far as the Blu-ray, I think that the Blu-ray is probably just as good, if not a bit better, than the DVD. Like I said, it does have some splotches here and there, but overall, it looks very, very good. I've noticed some things about this new Blu-ray release that I didn't notice on the DVD. There were some dark scenes that were really highlighted. They really brought out the color in the movie and the brightness of it, so you could see more of what was going on in some scenes. It sounded great as well. You know, every sound was you know, clear, both in the music, which I absolutely love the music of the film, and also, you know, the actors, you could really hear them well. And so overall, I think that it was a really great you know, transfer. I do think it could have been better. You know, it was a great transfer and everything, but I do think it could have been a lot better. Now, I'm not, you know, usually when I talk about transfers for a movie, I always take into consideration how the company got that transfer, if they worked with the production company of the film, which they did, because on the back of it, let me see if I can find it, it does say 21st Century Fox on it, so I do believe that they did work. There's a logo right there, so I do believe that they did work with the with Kino to release a transfer. So I always take that into consideration. So overall, it is a great transfer. I do think it could have been a little bit better though. Now the extras on it, there's actually some new interviews. There's an interview with the director, Joseph Ruben, actor Wendy, Crewson, David Hugh Kelly, and David Morris, and an interview with the cinematographer John Lindell. Now, the interview with Joseph Ruben and John Lindell are listed separately on the back of the case. However, both of their interviews are in one video, and they do get intertwined at some points. Now, both of these interviews are very, very good, I think. You know, they both go into a lot of detail about the making of the film, how it was working with Maculay Culkin, who at that point, you know, 1993, Maculay Culkin was the biggest child actor in the world at that point, as well as Elijah Wood, and you could really tell that the director really did enjoy working on the movie. You know, he says that there were some things about it that he likes and some things that he doesn't, but he does go into a lot of great detail about working with the actors, the several script changes that the film went through, as well as just filming the movie itself, because they were filming in Maine, and it was incredibly cold in a lot of scenes. He does go into detail about, you know, when Macaulay's younger sister in the film, Connie, she falls through the ice in that one scene. He talks about how incredibly cold it was, and they were originally planning on having her down there for about like 45 seconds or so, because they actually did have her go down underneath the ice. A lot of stuff that they did in this movie was very practical, like that scene, as well as the scene when Macaulay and Elijah's characters are dangling over the cliff. You know, a lot of people think that they shot most of it in green screen, but they didn't. That was actually, you know, of course they had cables and everything, but they were actually dangling over that cliff, and he talks about the dangers of it and everything like that. Both of them are really great. Like I said, Joseph Ruben and John Lindell, you know, they both go through a lot of great detail about the film. There's also some photos on the set of the movie of them just sort of, you know, having fun, and, you know, different clips from the movie in the interviews as well. And then there's an interview with Wendy, Crewson, and David Hugh Kelly, who play Maculay Culkin, or Henry is his character's name, you know, his parents, and they're both in the same interview, but they're listed on the back as two separate interviews. But they go through a lot of detail. Wendy Crewson, she even talks about how she just had a kid right before she started filming The Good Son, which I think is very interesting, you know, of a mother who just had her child is now in a film about a mother who realizes her child is evil in a way, and she talks about just having to leave her baby with this babysitter. She also talks about how the babysitter at one point, she ends up getting killed in a car accident, and what she went through with that. So just having that, you know, as well as the subject matter of the film, she talks about that there was something very dark about that movie, and I believe she said that her, you know, her baby was, it was a few days old, I believe, like 11 days maybe. He was pretty young when she started filming The Good Son. I was pretty surprised. And this was the first film that she started working on, you know, when she got pregnant. So it was really great hearing of how, you know, what it was like with her working on the film as well as the father of the film, you know, and they both, again, you know, just like the director, they both looked at the film with fond memories, even though for, you know, for Wendy it was very difficult, especially the cliff hanging scene when she falls down, which, like I said, they actually filmed that stuff on the cliff, something that they would never do today. They actually, she actually fell on that cliff, and she was actually really covered in dirt and water, and it was freezing because, like I said, they filmed the movie in winter and in Maine, and it's very difficult for her, but at the end of it, she enjoyed it. And the last interview is from David Morris, who played, I'm looking on the back of the Blu-ray because I can't remember everyone's names, David Morris, who played Mark's father in the film, or Elijah Wood's father, and he talks about, he wasn't in the movie a whole lot. He wasn't around, all the evil, dark stuff, the one that Macaulay Culkin or Henry's character did. And he says at the end of the movie that the end of the interview, that he usually enjoys, watching the film that he's in at least once. He thinks that every actor enjoys seeing their work at least once. But for some reason about The Good Son, since he really wasn't in the film a whole lot, he says he doesn't feel the need to watch it. I'm not sure if he's watched it since then, but he just didn't really feel the need to watch it. But overall, these interviews are very well done. They go through a lot of detail about the making of the movies, and I really enjoy watching them. And if you're a fan of the movie, I think you would really enjoy these interviews as well, because they go through a lot of it. It's not just them sitting in a chair and just talking. There's music, there's clips from the music from the film, there's clips from the movie, as well as some photos on the set of the movie that I've never seen. There's kind of one funny photo of the director and Macaulay, the scene when he has that wooden sword and he's going around and he's pretending that he's fighting people. There's a scene where Macaulay's holding the sword up to the director, and the director's got like a look on his face, and he goes into a lot of detail about what it was like with Elijah's parents being there, and the dynamics between them, and also the fact that Macaulay had his father there, and the dynamics between their relationship. And the way they see it is that it is what it is. I'm sure if you know about Macaulay Culkin, you kind of know the dynamic between him and his father, especially during that point when he was, like I said, one of the biggest, or at least the biggest child actor in the world. And they sort of talk about it as like, it is what it is, and with their relationship. There's also the original theatrical trailer of the movie, and the original theatrical trailer for the film The Pit, which they also released, and another film called Jennifer, which Kino Lorber also released on Blu-ray. Now, I do kind of wish that they had the short documentary that was on the DVD of The Good Son, because that documentary was filmed in promotion for the movie, so there are interviews with both Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood in that documentary. It's not very long. You can watch it on YouTube if you want, or you can just, buy the DVD. And I kind of wish that they would have included it. It's not like a very overdone documentary. Like I said, they filmed it while the movie was being made. But I still would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen some behind-the-scenes footage, because I know there was footage of, like, especially the cliff scene, because obviously when Macaulay falls at the end, of course they shot that on green screen, but there were a lot of moments where they were just hanging from that cliff, and I would have liked to have seen some footage. I'm not sure if they just didn't have permission to use that footage or whatever it is. I'm sure that there might be some legal reasons why they couldn't use it. But I would have liked to have seen something like that. I also heard that both Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood were approached to do interviews for this Blu-ray, and they both turned them down. Now, I do completely understand why Macaulay Culkin didn't do it. I know that he and Elijah had a lot of great fun doing this movie. They both really enjoyed it, and Elijah has even said in interviews that they're still friends, but I can kind of see why Macaulay Culkin wouldn't have wanted to do an interview for this film. I'm sure it's not necessarily a movie that he is a movie that he would probably go back to a lot. Unlike, the Home Alone movies, which, he has done interviews for the DVDs and the Blu-rays of those films, but I can kind of understand him. I do kind of wish Elijah Wood would have talked about it, because he has talked about it. He's open to talking about it. Like, I even saw a short interview with him at a fan expo back in 2014, and somebody asked him about making The Good Son, and he does talk about it, so I kind of wish that he would have at least done a quick interview or something for this Blu-ray. But you know, it is what it is. But overall, I think that the transfer is good. The interviews are very well done, well detailed, and I really do. And I really did enjoy the contents of the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray menu screen has an image from another DVD release of The Good Son, which I'm not a big fan of that DVD cover, so I'm glad they did not use it on the cover of this Blu-ray. But yeah, so anyway, that is just my thoughts on the film transfer as well as the interviews. Now I'm going to show off the actual Blu-ray cover. I'm going to go ahead and sit on down here at my table and show you guys, you know, the cover in detail. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Alright. So the first thing you can see is this really great artwork or cover right here, which I've actually never seen this image and I really like it. I like the, you know, Maculay Culkin or Henry peering out, you know, from the trees. You got the house back there in the background, and then you have the image of the family there, and it says Maculay Culkin, the good son. I've never seen this image right here, but I really do like it. I'm glad they included it. Now on the side it's kind of plain. It just says the good son right there. You got the Kino Lorber logo right up here, and then you got the Blu-ray logo. And then on the back you have all the special features listed right here, as you can see. And you got two great images. That image right there of Maculay holding the mask, I've always liked. I've always kind of wondered if that was like maybe from a deleted scene, but I do believe that it was just a promotional photo. If there is a scene, because I've always thought it would be kind of creepy, as you know, if the masks that he wears in the movie, if maybe they were more than just a mask that he wears. I always thought it would have been kind of creepy, you know, if they had like a scene where he was doing something with the masks, but I believe that that's just a promotional still. And then there's a shot of Wendy, Crewson, and Elijah Wood over the cliff. Alright, now I'm going to open the Blu-ray up, because this Blu-ray has reversible artwork. First off, you got the Kino Lorber. This is just a booklet that has, you know, other releases that they've done. Here's the actual Blu-ray disc, which again is pretty plain. It just says, you know, the Kino Lorber Studio Classics logo, and then it says The Good Son. Take the disc out, and on the other side it actually has, hang on one sec, it actually has the original VHS artwork of Maculay Culkin there, and the house behind him that is on the VHS artwork. And I really like how that they have reversible cover art for it. That was a really nice touch, and I've always, like I said, this is the artwork that I've grown up seeing on VHS, so I'm really, really glad that they included that. So, you know, if you want to flip the Blu-ray around, you can. I mean, the Blu-ray cover art, I mean. Close that up. And there you go. So overall, guys, I'm very, very happy that this movie got a Blu-ray release. I know that a lot of people have mixed feelings about this movie. Some people enjoy it, some people don't. I've always enjoyed it, and I'm really, really glad that this film finally got a Blu-ray release, and it got a nice release as well. Like I said, I really enjoyed the interviews that are included on the Blu-ray, and the transfer and the sound looks pretty good as well. So, you know, if you're interested in picking it up, I would definitely recommend heading down to Amazon or somewhere, because I have not seen this in stores. I actually ordered this from Barnes & Noble. They had it for a good price, and so I went ahead and I got it, and I ordered it from there. There you go. Sorry, there's police car going by. But anyway, guys, that was my review for the Good Son Blu-ray. Let me know what you guys think about my review, and also let me know if you're planning on picking up the film, and let me know your thoughts on the movie as well, because I know that there are some people who really enjoy it and some people who really don't. So let me know down in the comments below. And also, if you want to see my review of The Good Son, my review of the movie The Good Son, I'll leave a link down below. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for watching. I know I've been kind of babbling in this video, so I'm going to go and turn it off. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.